Let us begin with the
Yeah.
official Empires of the Undergrowth tier list. What do we think of the Ereptor Worker?
Yay!
If we look at the bracket, it didn't make it very far. We're going to mostly go off of Tournament 1 and then
Yeah.
Tournament 2 for ones we're unsure of. But Worker got knocked out, having
Yeah.
the lowest seed. It's not meant for combat.
It's not. And
Did
as we
beat
saw when we used
Leafcutter
them
Workers,
as
though.
this is true, but I don't know. We saw them being used as tanks for the wood ants.
That's true.
Didn't really perform very well as tanks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would agree with F, not Dogwater, but F.
I agree. What do we think of our Black
For
Ants?
combat.
Black Ants got beat out by
Ant.
Stink Ants in Tournament 1. In Tournament 2, our Black Ants
Made it a bit
beat the Wood
further.
Ant tank, beat the Ereptor Worker, and then lost to Army Ant Media.
Yeah, so basically we have decided that it was able to beat the crappy ants. Not much better.
It's not very good. It does okay, but it seems to be beat out under most scenarios.
Yeah. An increased attack speed is nice if you have support.
Yeah. It seems to be beat out by something else in almost every scenario. It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we've got Slave Makers.
Hey. Slaves got beat by Leaf Media in alternate tournament.
And then they got beat out by Driver Majors in the main.
Majors.
I don't like them.
Yeah, and they didn't even rack up that many kills.
Here's my question, though. Are they better or worse than our Black Ants? We're doing a quick... I forgot to do this battle. I meant to do this battle, and I never did. I feel like this will decide their spot. Are they better than Black Ants?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think they are better or worse?
I mean, they're designed to be Black Ant enemies for those levels. Worse.
They do seem to have higher stats at level 3, but there are more Black Ants.
Yeah, like for cost efficiency.
Yeah, they simply... Alright, interesting. The Slave Makers are better than Black Ants at level 3. I think
Okay.
not enough for it to matter much, though.
Yeah, so instead of F, we can give them another D.
Agreed. There you go. I think, yeah, they're just
Not down there.
low D.
No, down there.
I see. My bad.
There you go.
They're above Black Ants, but I don't think by much.
Yeah.
Alright.
Now we have Wood Ant Tank. Dogwater.
This thing never won anything. Try as we might, it just...
What's their attack stat? Like, what, 1?
It's 1! They're so bad!
Yeah, the only thing they have going for them is slightly increased health. But as we saw in that Black Ant battle, doesn't do much.
It doesn't do a whole lot. They're just unfortunate.
It's good for the levels, because you do need a tank for the levels, but past that, I would just use workers in the levels too, right?
Yeah. It's like you could say maybe if you put the workers versus the Wood Ant tank, the Wood Ant tank would win. But the thing is, workers can harvest things much faster. I can have much more of them. In the Wood Ant levels on Impossible, most people use workers instead of the tank. I use workers instead of the tank, and they fare much better than the tanks would.
Yeah.
Useless. Never use Wood Ant tanks.
Yeah. As a person who prays the game like how the people want them to, so I use soldiers. They stink. It takes me forever to complete Wood Ant levels.
Real. I know. I'm a pro. I beat every level on Impossible with challenge mode on. Jake is the more common player.
Yep, I'm your average Andy, fellas. Yeah.
So what do we think of Ranged and Mortar? Ranged and Mortar on Tournament 1 They beat leafcutter workers. They lost to big-headed majors, which was a surprise. Mortar beat termite workers, which
Yeah.
come to realize is
And
impressive.
again,
Then lost to
lost
big-headed
too
major.
big headed.
So in the ultimate tournament, we
Yeah.
wouldn't Mortars lost to Army at Media, wouldn't Ranged beat Army at Major, and then lost to Leafcutter Taunts.
And our rapid fires demolished those stinky ants. And they, yeah,
What do we think of them? They're a little hard to
uh,
place, and we are relatively putting
yeah,
this in terms of custom games.
yes. I think early on your rapid fires can be better, but as we saw, because we did the level 1 versus each other, like mortars versus rapid fire 1, and then level 3 is when mortars shine. Yeah, I would agree with B.
I think rapid
Yeah,
fire is over
B.
mortar, but I think they're both so situational. I think rapid fires have
Very
slightly more situations. I think they're good B
yeah,
tier.
I would agree with that. Definitely top of B tier.
They're,
I could maybe, yeah, I could argue rapid
I
fire
could
A.
argue a. They perform well. We may move those two around. They're a bit
Yeah,
controversial because they're so unique. They're the
yeah,
only ranged ant in the game. The only ranged thing in
yeah,
general in the game.
yeah.
We may move them around. I believe they could very well be A, but we will see.
Nothing
So
lower than B for sure. Nothing lower
yeah.
than B.
So leafcutter
Okay, I
workers
leave
somehow lost to
the
Erepta workers.
despite a stat advantage, right?
Yeah, they literally had a stat advantage. I don't know how they lost.
Yeah. So yeah, they suck.
Yeah, I think you should never have them fight. They're good harvesters. They harvest, but in terms of combat, you don't use them. The Ereptor workers can
Yeah.
occasionally be used in combat for the early game. Leafcutter workers don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
Leafcutter media, however, I was a little impressed by. If we look at it, they beat termite majors, which is funny. Then they lost to bullet
Yeah.
ant, which checks out. In our alternate
Yeah. That
tournament, they beat
did we?
slave makers.
Yeah. There they are.
They lost to leafcutter stun, which checks out.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
they're
mean, not a bad unit.
they're not bad. They're not great by any means, but they're not bad.
Yeah.
And their
And they're the
harvesting is
best harvest.
they're the best
Yeah.
harvester. I mean, some can argue that the spamming workers is better, which I do agree. But for what they're capable of combat and harvest, they are they're solid in the middle. I think it's a good C tier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now stun and taunt. Uh, in tournament one, we put them against each other, if I believe. Which
Yeah.
one? Yep.
Stun one
And
out.
stun one out. In our alternate tournament, let's just look at our results. We've got taunt beating Stinkant by a lot. Stun beating. Oh, stun beat Fire Pervasive. I forgot that. That's one
Oh
thing to
yeah.
remember.
That happened.
Stun beat Medic. Taunt beat Wood Ant. Nothing beat them. The only thing that ever beat them was Vigorous Fire Ants and Bullet Ants.
Which we've top two. So yeah.
I believe they are absolutely S tier, being phenomenal in
Yeah.
terms of stats. Stun is better than
I think.
Taunt by a little bit.
Yeah. I think that without the healing, you're gonna see taunt in A, but with that healing, definitely pushes it to
That healing
S.
and resistance. And don't forget that combo potential of taunts.
Mhm.
Having taunt, they will make things attack them. That will really help out army ants and termites get their buff going. Could be very excellent with
Exactly.
these. Could even combo phenomenally with our bullet ants because you don't want your bullet ants dying. And
Yeah.
especially with that, I believe both of them deserve an excellent S. And stun is excellent at perma-stunning even larger creatures. I think
Yeah. Like you get
stuns.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw stun
5.
beat pervasive fire ants, so even swarms don't stop them.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that would stop them is the huge creatures. And even then, we saw
Yeah.
them against the bullfrog. Their sheer stats, they deserve S tier. So here will be an interesting one. Our good old Army Ants. Let's start off with our Army Ant Media. In our main
Did
tournament,
very well in
they
all three
surprised
at
me.
main.
This is our first super surprising one. What color are Army Ants? They're in the green. Our Army Ant Media, let me bring this over to the recording. They beat Termite Medias,
Then
beat
they
Driver Majors, and then lost to Leafcutter Stuns. In our alternate,
in
uh,
our first one they demolished the medic anesthesiast.
demolished Big Headed
And
Medias,
yeah, and then lost to Fire Ant Pervasive.
beat
I mean,
Wood
Big
Ants,
Erase.
beat Black Ants, beat Medic. Oh yeah, they made it to the finals of alternate and then lost to Big Headed. They're good.
Oh yeah, yeah. In alternate.
And I think I've decided these deserve to be high A because of their combo. I've been thinking about it. On their own, they're bad. Their combo potential is excellent, though.
Yeah, because like in our main one, they only lost to second place early
Yeah.
on. If they hadn't been set up against the Fire Ants, up, Jade. There you go.
I keep thinking to go down there. By the way, I don't know what these are. We've got some funny modded things.
Like
But
fish, goldfish, man.
fun tier list. I think. Do you think A or
Hmm.
I think they're B.
Yeah, I would say B. They don't have quite as much potential as those ranged units.
Because they have little to no combo potential, and that's why I put them in B. Their cost to stats is extraordinary. I think their raw cost to stats is only beat by Leafcutter Majors and Fire Ants and Bullet Ants.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And bullet ants.
Yeah, because Bullet Ants would.
Oh yeah. They just kill everything. Yeah.
But I think they're an excellent high B. Their raw stats are
Yeah.
incredible. Excellent early game. They're cheap, easy to produce. They're good. Army Ant Majors in Tournament 1, we saw Army Ant Majors face off against Big Headed Medias and lost. They dominated, actually. We see
Yeah.
Army Ant Majors going and losing against Tiny Black Ant, which was an upset. I'm surprised. Tiny Black Ant surprised
Yeah.
us. In our alternate tournament, we had Army Ant Majors
I think
lose
they
to
they
Big
actually
Headed.
lost, but we just kept bringing them back.
I don't think we saw them in the. Oh, there they are. Army Ant Majors lose to Wood Ant Ranged, which was funny. They aren't here, but we did bring them back for the finals.
Let's see. Army majors do beat termite majors.
Yep, they do beat Termite Majors. They also beat Army Ant Media, lose to Big Headed.
Yeah.
I think their combo potential is excellent. They have incredible combo potential. The question is their combo, because raw stats, they're better than these, and the Rapid was
Yeah.
actually had higher raw stats than the Army Ant. But that damage, what do we think? High B or low A?
Low A.
Low A?
Yeah.
I agree. That increased damage, I tested it against some Titans. It can be crazy. They're just a
It
little hard to
works
keep
wonders.
alive. I think Army Ant Majors
Yeah.
struggle hardcore without the help of a Leafcutter Taunt. And that's why we see Leafcutter Taunt in S tier.
Yeah.
But that damage, especially comboed with Termite attack speed, can be wild stuff.
Yeah.
Here we have
Trapjaw.
Trapjaw. A disappointment. I expected a little more of Trapjaw.
Yeah. It's a cool mechanic, but they need more health and more attack.
Trapjaw
to make
lost
good use of the
to Tiny
mechanic.
Black Ant in Tournament 1, which is funny because I had Trapjaw as high seed and Tiny Black Ant as low seed. That was funny. Yeah, they just don't have the stats to back themselves up, as you were saying. And then they lost to Matt Billy. That's embarrassing. Just kidding. The Matt Billy I just like
not
making fun of
good.
because I had such high expectations of them.
Yeah, it's sad. But come on.
All right. I think here we do another in-game test. Just some final cleanup battles to clarify. Trapjaw versus Black Ants.
To decide between D and F.
Yep. I would hope Trapjaw wins here, but they've been
Because like
disappointing me.
Trapjaw, as you know, it is a counterpart, and for the counterpart colony.
Mhm.
And you know, as you're playing that, you do see them making mischief as they fling themselves back
Yeah.
and heal, which can get really, really annoying.
They can stay alive way longer than they should. But I also
Yeah.
remember in Counterpart, the only ant that mattered was the army ants. So.
Yep. Yeah, it's like your main concern was the army ants, and then the trapjaws, like I said, were nuisances.
I mean, you see them jumping back, you see them healing, you see them coming back, but they're starting to die.
Yeah.
Even to black ants. Wow, this is actually a really close battle. Wow, what a disappointment. Trapjaws, one of the cooler ants, losing to black ants. Trapjaws suck. Not a whole lot to say more for them. They don't do well.
Drop them.
So long, Trapjaws. Bottom of D. I don't think using workers over them is worth it, because their heal has some minor combo potential. They can stay alive a long time, but they are bottom of D. What do you think?
Okay, without that combo potential point, I would say top of F, but
Yeah.
combo potential, I would say edge them up to bottom of D.
They have some survivability. Otherwise, they would be F. But that survivability, I believe, keeps them in bottom of D.
That could save you some food later.
Little bit.
Alright.
Alright, now we have our pervasive fire ants. I didn't put them in Tournament 1, because we didn't need them. In Tournament 2, our pervasive fire ants lost. We didn't do a whole lot with them, because they're just kind of... I mean, we know they're good. We see what Vigorous is capable of, but we did end up testing them. They lost to Leafcutter's Stun. However, I believe they beat everything else.
Yeah, Warm potential is really great. Yeah, vigorous is definite, yes. But let's see, how long does that stat last? What?
I think it's 20 seconds.
100 seconds?
100 seconds. It lasts
Yep.
a while. Let's find out. Empires of the Undergrowth.
I mean, look, I'll see.
Yeah, you go ahead and look it up. I think pervasive. I think we should put them against army ants. And see.
Okay. Please wait during this short intermission.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put them against army ant majors to see if they're better or worse. So we've got our 113 pervasive fire ants. Because they're good. They still have the sheer immense cost efficiency of fire ants. But not quite the sheer power of Vigorous, which proved to be our second best ant in the game. Benefit of the doubt. Alright. And don't forget pervasive... Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Alright, well, this is a bit of a fluke battle. Really funny to see. Don't forget pervasive ants are free to hatch every 100 seconds or so. Which is, most of the time, they're going to be free to hatch.
Yeah.
I accidentally summoned twice as many army ants as I meant to. Oh my gosh!
Are they winning?
Noted. Our stats are clear. Our stats are quite clear. Oh, the army ants did end up winning. Their damage... Wow, impressive.
Okay.
It does prove that if we had the right amount, though, they would have lost.
Yeah, so I looked it up. Vigorous, that effect lasts 100 seconds. And after that, you're left with a base stat.
They're top of S. Most of the... yeah.
Definitely.
Jeez. Yeah, you can raid nests with that much time. Wow.
Yeah, that's...
So now the question is, what do we think? Because this is going to be solely situational. Is pervasive better or worse than our wood ants?
So in the context of a custom game,
Yeah, in the context of a custom game.
I I don't know, free ants, that's kind of crazy.
It is crazy.
Especially when you get to the point where you're doubling it, 2 ants per tile. I think that pushes it to top of A. Not to S, but to top of A.
Okay, I agree. They just simply are so strong. And some people can argue, but the late game potential of rapid fire and mortar, the slow of the rapid and the DPS of the mortar, but the sheer advantage pervasive can give you early game with their absolutely
Yeah.
absurd cost efficiency and them being free to cost, free to hatch most of the time. There's lots of them. They're good at harvesting. I do believe they are top of
Yeah.
A. Above our
They're going
good
to help
old
you
wood
throughout
ants.
the entire game with gathering food, fighting things.
Absolutely. And I mean, you just
Then
saw
your
that
mortar.
the
Yeah.
only ants with higher cost efficiency, even if you exclude the free cost, would be our leafcutter majors and bullet ants. So,
Yep. And we know where they at when.
all right, Minimorium ants. These were quite an
Yes.
upset. I thought they were going to do
Minimorium.
poorly. All right, now
They
on
did
our.
shockingly well.
Yeah, they did. If we look at our
Let's
main
see.
tournament, our Minimorium ants are going to be our light red color. Tiny black ants. They beat Trapjaw. They beat
Yeah.
Army Majors. And then
And then
they
they lost to
lost to
Fire Ants.
Vigorous, which, as we saw, makes sense. In our alternate, our tiny black ants beat Termite Medias, beat Wood Ant Mortars, which was
They
funny,
beat Stink Ants.
and lost to Leafcutter Stun. Oh, hello, Empires of the Undergrowth. I meant to go to this.
So yeah, that first round in the alternate tournament, they beat Stink Ants, and Stink Ants made it to round 3, whereas... Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay,
fact
well,
that they
alright,
beat
they
Stink
both lost.
Ants
They
is
both lost in
crazy.
round 3, but...
I want just to confirm, I strongly believe the Fire Ant Pervasives are stronger. I want to make sure.
I believe that's correct, yes.
Because overall
Because,
stats, the
yeah.
Fire Ants are better, but we cannot forget the sheer power of the Minimorium stun and their confusion.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw them, you can say, oh, but they get AoE'd easily. They beat Stink Ant, they beat Leafcutter Mortars. They're impressive. Impressive
Yeah.
little guys.
I think just the thing with Fire Ants is that Fire Ants can meet them ant for ant.
They can.
Which is a problem for the minim. That's the reason they
Whoa!
excelled in those situations is because they just outnumbered them.
Look at that! Minimoriums beat the Fire Ant Pervasive. I was not
Yeah.
expecting that. That confusion is insane, and that tells me what I need to know. Hello, Minimoriums.
Incredible.
Welcome to top of A tier.
Up.
Gosh, thank you. I don't know what I would do without you. Wow! And Minimoriums have potential too. That confusion makes them an
Has so
excellent
combo potential.
supporter.
I don't know. I would almost say with that combo potential, that could be bottom of S. We'll just have to see how things play out.
Do you believe we will see? Because the stun, my only problem putting them bottom of S is stun Leafcutters desecrated them.
Oh yeah, it was like bad. It was about what
So
I expected it to be like with the Stink Ants.
yeah, actually, they're definitely high of A. It's just
Yeah,
these ants in S tier are so good.
they're so powerful. Yeah.
All right, our media big-headed ants. These surprised me a little bit. They lost to Army Ant Media in the Ultimate Tournament, and I don't think we ever saw them again. Because they're not that interesting. And then
Yeah.
They, in our primary tournament, they lost. Oh, we have our big-headed majors twice. Did I put them in our main tournament? I might be silly. Oh, there they are.
Yeah,
Losing
they're
to
there.
Army
They
at
got
major.
beat by Army.
I think we need to do a
My,
little
my
bit.
numbers are wrong here. Sorry.
Let's compare them to
But
Black
yeah,
Ants.
Army Majors Freedom.
Yeah, they did poorly.
Cheaper than your Black Ants,
They
I
are
think.
cheaper. Yeah, they are.
So you can field about 30 more than that. 30 more. Oh wait, no, 20 more.
I'll put them on the same side again. Alright. Out of curiosity, we're gonna get our quick little cameo of the episode. Whip Spider! Hello, Whip Spider. How do you do against this little swarm? I've seen Whip Spider
Whip Spider.
lose to, 10 stuns Leaf Cutter Majors, which is funny. But how does he do against a bit of a swarm? We know he does AoE. He's our level 3 ants, though.
Yeah.
The Whip Spider's true annoyance comes in the fact that he just appears in the middle of your harvesting lines in the mission. His actual strength doesn't seem that great. Oh, but look at that venom damage! Yikes.
Yeah, he does do a fair bit of venom. Doesn't he? Has his AoE is.
His AoE is impressive. I think his damage stat is poor, but his AoE pays off for it. Well, I guess he does 40 damage. I don't know at what point, though, because he has got multiple attacks. Yep, Whip Spider victory. Well done, Whip Spider. Just to speed things up a bit. I've realized I've blundered with how I've set this up. Huh. Well done, Whip Spider. Alright, let's clear this thing. Unfortunately, Whip Spider does not do so well against our high-damaging Wolf Spiders.
Jaden Laverl Yancey Jr. III.
That's me.
Oh.
You lied. You blasphemer.
You motherfucker.
We're hurrying. We're hurrying. Okay, I might have lied. This might be taking longer than I thought it would. We're making our official tier list. Alright. Our media big-headed ants versus our black ants. Alright, you want to know our current top ants? Because this is important. You want to know our current top ants?
Right now.
Our current top ants at the best ant is our bullet ant. Our second best ant is our vigorous fire ant. And our third best ants are our leaf cutter major ants. And these are the best ants in the world official. Oh, you want to see our tier list? We're currently working on the final tier list. So, wow, these guys suck. Big-headed media ants are garbage. They barely killed any black ant. I am unimpressed.
Disappointing. F.
Absolutely. There they go. Into F. Do you think they're dog water? Why? I think workers are simply better.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's
that was pitiful.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing for them, actually.
Yeah, for 15 more food, you can... forget one of these, you can almost buy 2 Raptor workers, so...
Yeah!
Bad.
Here, Kimball and...
Not
Hayden,
the worst,
look at... We've got our graph filled out. We had our full tournament, all the results. If you're looking at my screen. We've got it all. All the information we need. Alright. Big-headed major ants on
That's a lot of ants.
Hour late.
It is a lot of ants. Did you guys... I hope you guys are playing games without
There's something
me.
worse than us here?
Yeah, we've got dog water ants. These are ants you don't even want to look at. That's how embarrassing they are. They're an embarrassment to the ant species.
They're like disappointments.
So opposite scale of
sad,
disappointment, big-headed major ants. Wow! Beating the stabbing medics for the Matabilia. They at our I cannot say that word. At our main tournament, we then see them against the rapid-fire wood ants, which beat them, which was quite an upset. I was not ready for that. Then got put up against bullet ant and lost to bullet ants. And bullet ants went on to win the tournament. Our big-headed majors beat the driver majors. and I believe they kept making random appearances. But anyways, they went undefeated. They went
Yeah, we could
entirely
see their
undefeated
potential.
through all of alternate tournament, all the way up to finals.
Where they win.
Did our big-headed majors ever face off against tiny black ants?
I think they did. Not on here though.
Okay, let's.
Okay, I'm going back to the other VC.
Okay.
Sorry, Jaden.
Cause our big-headed majors beat Minimorium, I believe, or did they? We're gonna find out.
I'm looking right now. Yeah, I don't know if they ever faced off on the bracket.
All right. Well, this is going to be an interesting battle. Our big-headed majors versus our Minimoriums. Let's see. I think the Minimoriums have it. I think we sent the big-headeds against the pervasive fire ants, and they lost to the pervasive fire ants.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a similar situation.
Well, if they lost to pervasive, they'd lose to the Minimoriums. Yeah. The big-headeds have decent combo potential, too, with their knockbacks. And they actually have an insta-kill. I don't know if you saw it, but they can grab ants and insta-kill them.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Which is impressive.
I don't think I ever noticed it today, but
Well, would you look at this?
Oh?
Big-headed ants won the alternate tournament for a reason. Wow.
Beat Tiny, okay.
It wasn't a sweep, but they definitely won. Wow. And they've got not bad combo potential. However, they did get desecrated by, once again, our good old Leafcutter Majors. So
at this point, okay, so they did beat the tiny black ants, little black ants, but combo potential. Is it better or worse than the little black ants?
that's a good question. I think, because they both do similar things. The big-headed majors stun and the Minimoriums confuse. I believe, and especially if you count in termites and the fact that these guys have crazy damage, I think their combo potential is better.
I think I would agree, actually, yeah.
Top of A, I still would not move it into S. We may end up moving our army ants and wood ants down to B. Yeah. What do you think? I just don't know if they're quite on the same tier as these two.
Yeah, it's like...
but their combo potential, dang it.
I definitely... Yeah.
I think, I'm just thinking about it. I remember the time I saw the army ant majors with the termite majors kill the toad in under 5 seconds. So, I think we will leave them in A.
I think keep them.
And the mortars...
Yeah.
The ranged ants... I've seen the wood ant mortars do more damage than any other ant in the game. And I've seen the rapid fire almost completely freeze uber creatures. I think they deserve to be an A still, too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Alright, hello, Matt.
Most of these guys are keeping themselves up there through combo potential. Oh, it's our favorite disappointment.
I wish I could put him in dog water, but he's not quite that disappointing.
Yeah, not that bad. I think definitely not a C.
He lost to our Vigorous. He does beat Trapjaw.
Oh yeah, that was
Then
I think maybe top of D. I would place him above Slave Maker.
Okay. Where did they... Armatabile... They beat Termite Workers. Thank goodness. Lost to Stink.
Oh, yeah. No.
So where would you put them?
I would put them maybe above... I'd either put them above Trapjaw or Slave Maker, which are both in D tier.
Okay. Do you think it would lose... I think it would lose to Leafcutter Media.
I feel like it would lose.
And the Leafcutter Media, yeah. It is... probably top of D. Not great, but it does okay. Our fast responder is difficult to rank.
Yeah, because That's purely a support unit.
We couldn't test it here. To put it simply, it was untestable in this situation. I enjoy Fast Responder. For
Yeah.
Soul,
Yeah, put him in C.
I think he's in C.
Yeah.
Fast Responder does well at what he does. What it does has nothing to do with combat, but what it does is good, and it does well at what it does. This guy, I haven't shown you him much
Dingy
against
McStinga.
Titans. Let me just show you a quick example. I was experimenting. I was struggling with Taraj. Taraj was being a nightmare of a mission to complete. I was trying to figure out what in the world I'm supposed to do. I tried spamming medias. I tried Fast Responder. None of that worked. I hadn't
Also,
considered.
FYI, I can't see Empires of the Undergrowth.
Oh,
You're only screen sharing to do this.
let me fix this.
I've been running experiments at the same time.
This is a force. The same price. Oh, I sent a large. We'll have a large and a huge. The same price in Matabele Warriors got decimated by the giant African centipede. So this is $2,250 worth, which is very attainable in the actual mission on Impossible. The damage they are capable of with their Stinger puts Titans to shame. And where they're unable to crawl on them, it makes it a little bit rough, and we've got some assistance. But their damage begins to quickly rack up. Since we've got the smaller
There
one
goes
down.
that first centipede.
Look at that damage
wow.
as those stingers go in, increasing physical damage. Wow. These are excellent support units. On their own, they stand poorly against ants, but against Titans and against Uber creatures. And don't forget they're slow. That doesn't work on Titans, but will work on Ubers. They do well.
That was incredible.
Yeah, they're impressive. They are absolutely impressive at what they do. And what they do is counter bosses and Uber creatures. What do we think?
And we were able to see some of that physical damage increase on some of the larger ants.
The stink ants and even our leaf cutter stuns, I believe, lost 3 to them.
Yeah, let me go look.
The only problem is their ant-on-ant combat is pretty terrible, with the exception of larger ants. So what do you think of them?
I think combo potential, you're looking good here because that not only does that fill the role of your medic, but this medic can fight. And it can add to that. It can add. But because of that fragility, I think B.
I disagree. And here's why, because don't forget their medics, don't forget they have that increased physical damage, but that damage you saw is their damage. That physical damage increase applies if you have vigorous ants. It applies if you have our leaf cutters. I believe they are more helpful than our wood ants and our army ant. I would even say they're more helpful
than pervasive. I would. Okay, yeah. If you're gonna put it in A, you need to put it above pervasive. I don't know why. I kind of forgot that was their damage.
Yeah, and they have poor damage actually. Like their damage on their own is pretty poor. So that's how much damage they did.
Which goes to show how much that physical.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I believe they do 7 damage a hit normally.
Okay, I agree with that.
Don't forget, Minimorium Black Ants do 6. These do 17, 22, 22. So 6 is what those numbers we're looking at, a 6 base damage. I believe Minimorium and Big-Headed Ants are still better, simply because they have similar. They've got equal combo power, but higher base stats by a lot.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Oh, but then again,
all right.
That revive though. That revive that they can do is
in a custom game that's what stopped me from making it. Can't believe I forgot.
It's between the revive, the slow.
If you're working with bullet ants, if you're fielding bullet ants, that's going to save you so much.
Man. Yeah, the revive with the bullet ants, the revive with our taunts up here, our leaf cutters. Don't forget they borderline paralyze non-Titans, which includes Ubers.
I think, yeah, in the context of a custom game, those are going to be a great boon.
Let's run a test here.
Okay.
And let's see how they do. I think this decides if they're S tier or not. Is there Uber killing potential? Most Ubers boast incredible AoE and dangerous abilities, such as our here Devil's Coach Horse, who also has high physical resistance, putting his 10,000 damage actually much higher than it is. Or, I don't know if Ubers are immune to the slow. If Ubers are immune to the slow, I believe these are A tier hands. It looks like Ubers are immune to the slow.
Oh.
That damage is still hard to ignore.
Are they bottom of S? Is that enough to put in bottom of S?
That's a good question.
Alright, well, we can leave them there for now and come back.
I believe they're bottom of S.
Alright. Yeah, the medic ability combined with the fact that that was their damage, which, wow.
Yeah, on base,
physical damage increase.
they do 6 damage on base. It's pitiful. That's the same as Minomoria Mance, I think. I don't remember. But it's not that much. Hey, that was a really close fight, actually. That was a good test then. I believe they're bottom of A. And I believe...
Bottom of A.
Or bottom of S, sorry. I believe they're bottom of S.
Those are your fast responders.
I believe our fast responders are bottom of B. I believe these are bottom of A.
Oh yeah,
bottom of S.
medics, yeah, that's right.
We'll still leave Army Ant there. That damages a lot. Okay.
Termite workers. Okay. So, where to begin?
I think they're top of seed. They're still workers. They still lost to most of the better hands, but they did in fact beat everything below them.
Yeah, they weren't.
They have no combo potential because they don't have abilities, but they are funny.
Yeah. And yeah, they're cheap. Yeah.
I think they're C tier.
I would agree with that. Top of C. Harvesters.
Harvesters suck. They don't belong in combat.
Have combat potential. They're too expensive to have that.
The thing is, their combat potential may be better than the Ereptors, except if you have Harvesters, you have workers.
Yeah, what are you gonna use? The workers.
Yeah,
I would.
Alright.
Keep it there.
Termite Warriors. Let's take a look. They do confuse.
They perform. Which is nice.
Termite Medias lost to Army Ant Medias in round tournament 1. And in our alternate are Termite Medias lost to Tiny Black
They
Ants.
lost to Tiny Blacks.
And we did some extra
wood
rounds.
tanks, which is an achievement.
I believe...
Lost to Termite... Wait, they lost to Termite Workers. Okay.
I believe they're top of D. Their combo potential makes me think they're okay. But my issue with them is if you have them, you have Termite Majors. And their combo potential is simply better.
Well,
what do you think?
Hold up here. They lost to Workers. They lost to Termite Workers. Let's see, what, you rank in top of D? I don't know, I would rate them middle of D. Not quite F.
How do you lose to Termite Workers?
Yeah, those are the guys you're supposed to be protecting. Come on.
Yeah, the confusion makes me forgive
Confusion.
them. I've seen the confusion in action. I think they're
okay. Yeah, confusion. Okay. Yeah, confusion is a power enough ability.
It's still embarrassing, but
very embarrassing. But
all right, our Termite Majors are a bit unique. They struggled, actually. I was a little disappointed. Losing to Leafcutter Medias. Yikes! Not what you want to see. It looked like it was a pretty close game with only a score difference. I have been looking at the scores, by the way. I haven't been saying how much. But a score difference of 200. So, close battle. And then our termite.
And lost to Army Majors and they all.
Yeah.
But
They have
Army
high
Majors
combo
feel
potential.
more of a support role than anything.
Yeah.
Like they combo well with the warriors of the termites.
They did.
I mean, not well. They combo decent, but
So they did beat workers. It's funny is they beat workers, lost to this, but that can beat workers. Interesting rock paper scissors we have here. I think they're top of C. They're far from bad.
you have to remember their combo potential with those army ants, though.
Yeah. And that combo
Does that push
potential
them
is
to bottom of?
good. But that's one. I think you're right. I think
like
the
we can
combo
find more
potential
uses for
does
them.
justify them at being at bottom of B.
Yeah. I wouldn't put them any higher than that, though.
I would.
Unless we find an incredibly amazing.
Unless we find something
combo.
crazy, but until
that'll be later.
Yeah, we will make a tier list in the future with combos being studied. Like we have a base understanding, but we haven't studied them.
Yeah.
All right. Driver Ant Medias. They disappointed me.
Ooh.
They beat Wood Ant Tanks, thank goodness. Yeah, I put Driver Ant Medias at a high seed, goodness gracious. They were
Don't think we even put
seed
them in
3
the
and
alternate.
4. I seeded them above Wood Ants, but they disappointed. Lost to Stink Ants. Yikes. Over here, our
By a
driver.
lot. They weren't even in the alternate tournament.
Yeah, they kind of.
They have the ability of increased attack speed at low health, which we did see that serve them fairly well in some cases. But you don't have much time left to fight if
at that
they're low
point.
health.
Let's go Driver Medias versus our Leafcutter Medias.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to see that.
29. They're just oddly expensive. It makes them rough to justify their early game, because
Yeah.
they are freaking 80. 80 food.
Like,
compared to Leafcutter Media 65.
I could get 4 termite workers.
Yeah, and in most situations, that quantity early game is going to be far more beneficial.
Yeah.
Because
and
harvesting
your fire ant, vigorous, same deal.
Yep.
I can get about 4 of them.
Absolutely. Let's see how they handle Leafcutter Medias. It seems to be poor. Well, that attack speed increase, it's noticeable. You can see it.
Turns the tide.
Munched on. Embarrassing. Let's see them against Black Ants. Do they have any potential?
Yeah, if they don't... Oh, man. Yeah, those Leafcutter Media cost 65 food, Black Ants cost 50.
It's just hard to justify them, because the thing that makes ants like these lower tier ants decent is you can get a lot of them. But you can't even get a lot. And they perform poorly, outclassed. That ability is okay, but combos with nothing, it's just not good.
Yeah.
I hope they can beat our Black Ant soldiers, and if they can't, they might just be dog water.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. With open beta, you can take in those like buffs, those special abilities you can apply in your Formicarium.
Yeah, we're not counting those.
I know, but it's like the only time I feel like they'd be good is if you could heal them actively.
Yeah, and that would be good. They barely won.
How many were left?
5 or 6.
Oh. F.
You think so?
They're so expensive. Like, sure they beat the Black Ant, but I don't know.
They're so
You
expensive.
can get 8 black ants for 5 of those driver ants.
Yikes. I don't know. I think they're
You
D.
could keep them in D tier.
I think I'll keep them in D. It's sad to see them there. But yeah.
Yeah.
They just didn't do great.
Driver major.
Driver majors fared a little better. Not as much as I wanted them to. They beat slave makers by a lot. They lost to our army ant medias by a fairly average amount. Here
Medias performed well. Let's see.
They lost to big-headed majors, probably by a lot.
Naturally.
Lost to stink ants, barely. I remember that one being neck and neck.
Yeah, that was close. And then fire vigorous. I imagine wasn't very nice.
They aren't that good.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't. We did not move them on from this one.
They just didn't do well. I saw plenty of what they're capable of, and they're just not that good.
What are their buffs again?
They have a variety of abilities, but they don't use them enough for it to matter.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
They have.
They should be able to compete well with like big head stink ants. I don't know. I feel like they didn't.
They have the charge knockback stun. They have the same ability as our big-headed ants, but you rarely ever saw them use it, and it just isn't as good. They just didn't do much. I think they're bottom of C. What do you think?
Yeah, see, they'll beat most of your weaker ants.
Yeah.
Simply because they're majors, but.
Yeah, I mean, these are our bad ants for a reason.
Yeah.
They didn't do well. Stink ant did.
Kind of disappointing.
The same.
Not terrible, but.
There's 300 food. They did. They can't even fight what they're good at. They got beat by all of our swarm ants. They just aren't that good.
They did beat black ant by a fair amount.
They did.
Like they did well against black ants.
You get up to these higher tiers and they didn't stand a chance. Their combo potential is minimal. You could say, oh, they do AoE. You know what else does AoE? Mortars. You know what else does AoE? Big-headed. You know what else does AoE? No need for AoE. If freaking top majors can beat pervasive fire ants, you don't need AoE.
Yeah. That sums it up. And their AoE, like, you see it happening, but, like, it's such a small margin. Like, struggling against those fire ants, which are swarm ants.
It's just embarrassing. And now...
And they lost to wood ant ranged, which, admittedly, I don't know. I feel like that they could have done better.
They should have done better. I don't think we even had tanks for them. And this
that was like the last round where we didn't have tanks for them, I think.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but
how do we
beat Matabele? Beat Termite Media as well, which looking at our tier list,
which checks out. I realized that wasn't that great.
Yeah.
What do we think of this?
Yeah, I'd agree with C. And then of course at the top we have Bullet Ant.
We don't even need to talk about Bullet Ant. We saw Bullet Ant uncontested, even against combos. I bet one day we'll find something that counters it. But until then, simply too
if you want to kill it, you're gonna have to expend a lot of resources, a lot more than they expended to send that first attack.
Yeah, the thing is, if you can hold off against the first attack, there's so much upkeep, 10 times a regular upkeep, so you really can War of Attrition them, but in single encounters, they are undefeated, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And they've got excellent combo potential, being the only thing in the game that can paralyze uber and huge creatures. They can be revived by our medics, throw in some good old taunt leaf cutters, they won't be touched.
Yeah.
They're excellent. Boasting 750 health, 80 damage a hit. Combo that with our army ants, boast that up to like 200 damage a hit. that paralyzing venom. And you saw that venom does like 20 damage a second after the sting.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
I think the best way to beat one of these is you're gonna have a bunch of you could theoretically beat them with a bunch of rapid fire ants with correct positioning.
Absolutely.
Like turn off attack and let it surround it. Like preferably in like a ring almost, because then it would
Yeah,
be too
to
slow to
take
get
them
all
too
the way around
slow.
the ring.
Yeah, they are slow, and that
Yeah.
is absolutely correct. I mean, we saw our little black ants with our rapid fire ants comboing together against them, and it did all right. And if this was a
Yeah.
custom game, they would have won for the sole fact of this cost 10 times as much to upkeep. And
Yeah.
the ability of these ants to slow these guys down would take them too long to actually get to any queen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're absolutely top of S. They can be stopped in ant-on-ant battle. Their weakness is still, in fact, ants. But even in ant-on-ant battles, with these single encounters, they go uncontested.
Yep. I'd agree.
And that looks like the official, first and only correct Empires of the Undergrowth tier list.
Yeah.
We've done it! I'm surprised. This is not what I would have guessed. I would have
I
guessed
know. I would have just seen ants
drivers
at
and
least an
termites up there.
A.
Yeah. I was not
Yeah.
expecting to see these two. Honestly, these three. I wasn't expecting to see pervasive this high. These three surprised me.
Yeah.
And this guy. Although I discovered this one when experimenting with the missions, not necessarily there. But
Yeah.
who was your first guess on Victor other than Bullet Ant? Because I think we know Bullet Ant.
Other than bullet ant, honestly, I thought I was gonna see army ant higher because in S because of how terrifying they were.
Me
And
too.
I expected vigorous should be S or A. I don't know. I thought Black Ant would be higher than D, but after seeing those sad performances,
It's a little embarrassing, some of these
Yeah.
ants.
just as an average player, we associate strength with size. So I thought Stink and Driver would be higher, Montevele would be higher. But
Matabili was embarrassing.
seeing the leaf cutters up there is not surprising. It's just you appreciate their abilities more after seeing them in action.
Oh, yeah. Especially on those impossible difficulties, on those leafcutter missions, you really begin to see how important those majors are.
Mm.
And especially like on the harvest, if you try to attack the enemy queen and kill them, the only way to do it is with majors. They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my biggest surprise is these big-headed ants. I thought they were bad. Honestly. I guess.
I knew they had potential because I've messed around in the sandbox a lot.
Yeah.
So I expected roughly about B from them. Yeah, top of A was surprising though.
And
I thought top of
Minimorium,
B.
goodness, because I mean you see these
I
two
know.
colonies in your fire ant missions, but the colonies just don't have the same kind of food you do, so it's hard to get a justified assumption. But wow, did they provided. They were good.
Yeah, that was impressive. Let's see. You have I think overall tiers 3 and 4 provided the most
Oh yeah.
top tier ants. Okay, let's see.
I mean tier 3 you just had you have got your leafcutter and your army ants here.
Yeah, and then of course you have the fire ant update.
Yeah, you've got your fire ants. You got all of the they have pretty much everything from tier 4 other than the embarrassment that is poor big-headed media. I think literally every single other ant is up here in the top 2 tiers though.
Yeah. And this kind of goes to show like the balance of this game because like we have these amazing S tier leaf cutters,
and
then there's C tier.
Yeah.
And then their workers are dog water. You have this amazing big-headed ant major, and then its media's in dog water.
It does show. I think this is an excellent show.
It's very balanced.
Because the leafcutter missions is like your ants have their roles. Your workers harvest, they stay out of battle. You protect those things, they don't stand a chance. That was shown. Your medias are the balance of the two. They're very good harvesters and they can hold their own, but you don't send them into a war.
Yeah, and then you have your majors.
Your majors are your majors, and oh boy, did they provide.
Yeah. And then if you look at that, they're all very equally spaced apart.
Yeah. Overall, I'm very content with this. My 400 hours in Empires of the Undergrowth. Yeah, this is correct. I believe this to be the true Empires of the Undergrowth tier list without heavy combos. But we did take in combos into assumption. For example, our army ants would not be this high.
Combo potential. We will get into combos.
We're going to learn the
earnest
broken
later.
stuff. But at a base level of combo, like I have as much combo knowledge as an average above average Empires of the Undergrowth player.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah. No, I believe this to be accurate, even with combos, even if we find something crazy. Maybe we find out maybe driver ants have some weird combo. But like even then, I think
I have
this
hopes
tier
for
list,
driver ants.
I still want them to be cool. They look cool. They're just bad.
Yeah. So
But
expensive.
we will play and experiment in these new custom games. But even then, I think this tier list holds up.
Yeah.
It shines true. Even in the Formicarium challenges, they shine through. And the Formicarium challenges on Impossible really do test your knowledge.
Yeah, the only thing you need to know for those easy ones is put your wood ants in the back, not the front.
Real.
That's all you need to know to beat the counterparts.
Real. No, on counterparts, I don't even use black ants. I literally solely use wood ants and leafcutter majors, and it's not that hard.
I did do something like that, and I was like, wow, it's a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah, like the black ants really are a waste of your money. And I mean, checks out. They're the simplest. They're the basic ant. I expected them to be in D tier. I did not expect them to be above Trapjaw. That made me sad. Trapjaw is cool, but gosh, they suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad with this tier
Alright.
list. Thanks for doing this with me, Jake. This was way more fun than it should have been.
Thanks for the opportunity.
We now understand this game better than most people do.
Indeed we do. Indeed we do.
Anyways, I should go.
Can't wait for those multiplayer. And yeah, you need to go.
Caden and Kimball are going to kill me. I was supposed to be at their house 2 hours ago. But yeah.
We had ants.
This was important. I don't regret anything. See ya, Jake.
See, you should let me know when you put those videos online.
I will. I'll probably work on it tomorrow, getting them all
Alrighty.
uploaded. But yeah, I'll see you
Thanks, Jaden.
then. So long, Jake.
Yeah.